Hi everyone, it's Johnny from Transparency Clean Services, and today we're doing a clay roof clean on this shed. So it's not a massive area, beautiful sunny day, and it's going to come up really good, this one. One of my favourite types of tiles to clean, and I just wanted to talk about quickly the disagreement people have on soft washing roofs. A lot of people say you can't do it. This particular roof, you can pressure wash it. It's all about using the right methods, the right pressures to get that grime off without doing any damage. So these tiles in particular don't have a granulated surface. So if you're going at it with a turbojet, 200 bar, you're obviously going to do damage to it, and no one should be doing that, and a lot of people do. However, if you go at it with a dual turbo nozzle, turn down the revs, turn down the pressure, do it so it's just enough to take the algae and the moss off, no harm is going to be caused. And we've done hundreds of roofs this way. We've never had a problem with it. I'm not going to argue with people though. People have strong beliefs on it. I'm going off experience. I used to believe it was bad for the roof until I practiced it, tried it, did experiments, and then you realise, you know what, there are roofs you can clean with water, just not every roof. Just like there's so many different things, you know, where methods are better than others for doing things. So on this particular roof, to get the best finish, the instant finish, is to use one of these, really low pressure, wash it all off, and it'll come up amazing. Now, you may argue and say, well, why don't you just do it by hand? I don't believe doing it by hand is the best idea, because you've got to use either blades or wire brushes, and what that'll do is it will leave scuff marks all over the tiles while you're trying to scrape the moss out the joints and off the lips of the tiles, and we don't want to do that. We want to give this customer the best finish we can. And if you say, well, what if there's stubborn stuff because you're using a low pressure, we're going to turn it down, and anything that doesn't come off, the biocide, you know, the biocide treatment will go down. My favourite stuff, which will get rid of all those last remaining bits that are clinging on. We're not going to whack the pressure up and try and strip it off. That is what you don't want to do. So yeah, let's see how it goes, see how it comes up, but I think this one's going to look really good. And just in terms of the actual roof, this is what we're dealing with. So the jet, you know, you don't need to use loads of pressure to get this off. You don't need what you would need to clean, you know, clean a patio where you've got 20 years of grime on there, and it needs to all just be stripped off. Don't mind my hat. Safety first, you know, we take it seriously here. As much as a muppet I might look with a helmet on, yeah, if I fall, at least I'm so, well, if I fall, I may be all right, but it's better than not having one, you know. But yeah, you don't need that pressure. Like, all we're talking about here is some light bits of moss, a little bit of lichen here and there. There's no reason to be kicking it with 200 bar. But anyway, let's see how this comes up. So massive improvement, look at that. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But we do have some black spots still. And this is where it's the fine line between cleaning roofs and then damaging them. So you may be really inclined to now blast them off and get really close, but you don't want to be getting any more than 6 inches close to those tiles. And I teach my team, you know, you don't want to be spending any more than half a second on each tile. So yeah, you may be inclined to now try and jet this and get these spots off. Let the biocide do its magic. Smother it in biocide, let it clean it. And you know, guys, if you're starting out and you're getting into roof cleaning, set the expectations with your customer, because you know, if they see your adverts, they see ours, and they think, oh, I want my roof to look that brand new. Not every roof's the same, not every situation's the same. Sometimes this all comes off in one go. Other times you do need to use chemicals, and you need to put that in your quotes, just to be clear, not to upset anyone, and you want to get paid at the end of the day, and you want to communication. You know, communication is the key. That's what I'm trying to say here. Is, you know, say it's going to come up really clean, but there may be spots, there may be bits here and there, and then the treatment will gradually get rid of that. And then probably, I'd say between 6 to 9 months, it'll be absolutely spotless, and this roof will live on for years to come. It's not even an old roof actually. The reason we're actually cleaning it is because the seagulls like to sit on this ridge and contaminate the roof, which has made the moss spread within literally like a year. So we're going to be putting spikes on the top of this ridge, seal them on, clean the other side of the roof, and then this will be ready to go for years to come. But yeah, really good results so far. I'm happy, customer's going to be happy, and that's all that matters. But yeah, thanks for watching. And just so we can see, these are the spots I'm talking about, and the treatment will get rid of them. You don't want to be pinpointing that jet for more than half a second to try and get these off, because that's when you're going to get water going underneath. That's when it's gonna, you're gonna have a bad day at work if it gets to that point. So like this, on this particular roof, we're not doing it because the membrane's really good, but usually we would have someone in the loft space literally the whole time we're cleaning the roof to avoid any leaks. So someone's up there with a radio, and if there's even a drip, they're like, right, knock off the machine, lads, let's put something in place so we're in control of it, and then there's no, there's not a bad situation at play. It's happened before to us, which is why we're so experienced as a company. When we started out roof cleaning, we had drips come through and we didn't have someone up there, and I know a lot of guys out there clean roofs and don't pay any attention to the loft space, and they're cleaning old profile tiles and the pugging's blown in the valleys. You really need someone up there, guys, especially if you're starting out. I know it's an extra day's labour having someone, but it will save you in the long run. If stuff goes wrong, well, it won't, because you'll have someone up there. I thought, you know what, let's get into this a bit more. So here is one of these tiles, and as you can see, there is no granulated surface on this. It's just a hard, solid, flat clay. And I strongly believe you can wash these completely. A lot of tiles, concrete, even clays will have that really rough granulated coating, which is the protective coating, and you don't want to be washing that off. But that being said, when you come to clean a roof, it's covered in moss, and I have found over the years, when you take that moss off, even if you literally pick it off with your hand, that coating's already gone because the moss has destroyed it. So the argument of roof cleaning is bad for the roof, I strongly disagree with it, because I think, well, the wind and rain ain't eroded that. Let's be honest, that's not going to erode stone, basically, a stone coating off a tile. That is going to be the moss spores chewing into the surface, and that's why you get the gutters full of silt and whatnot. I firmly believe that if you're going to remove the moss, you're actually preserving that roof life for years. And if you keep it treated, every 3 to 5 years, and keep that moss at bay, what's going to wear this roof out? What, rain? No. Wind? I don't think so. I mean, gradually over time, yeah, maybe, the sun beating down it decade after decade, it will eventually wear out. Pugging's going to need re-cementing, but I strongly believe if you do it with the right methods, you can absolutely extend the roof's life and not cause it any damage. But yeah, I try not to argue with people about it, because everyone has very strong opinions on it. I just go off what I know, what I've experienced, what we've done on so many different roofs, trial and error and figuring it out. We don't jet every roof, we don't clean every roof by hand. Sometimes it does need water, and then some roofs you do not want to put water on. For example, big concrete profile tiles and the valleys are all blown because the moss is all frozen and just blown all the cement. You don't want to be putting water on that roof, because if you lift the tiles and they're literally just hanging on by a thread, yeah, water's going to get in. Don't be touching it with water. But that comes with experience, and I think, yeah, if you're getting into the game, just really think about it when you go see a roof quote. Don't just from the ground floor just look and go, yeah, I'll be right, the pressure wash. Get up there on a ladder, someone footing you, of course, and check it properly. Is it going to let water in? Is the felt underneath this roof got massive gaping holes in it? Can you see damp patches from when it's rained? All these little things you really need to consider and check. I know it's effort, but it will save you a lot of money, because if you don't do it and you get water pouring in, yeah, it could be a really bad day. You damage ceilings, electrics, you name it, and it'll happen. And it never happens at a convenient time either. It'll be when you've just paid a VAT bill and spent £1,000 on your van. Cool. So now the snow foam's going on, which is the bar side. We'll get rid of all these little dots, keep it sanitised, and like I say, 3, maybe even 5 years we'll get out of this before the algae starts to come back, and then gradually the moss comes back. But if you've had your roof cleaned by us or anyone else, as soon as you've seen that algae starting to crop back on the colour of the roof, just ping us or whoever you use and just get them to put a biocide treatment on. Because if you're spending that investment and getting the roof clean, you want to keep it clean. Like servicing a car, MOT in a car, it needs maintenance. There's no one trick that will keep this clean forever. It's going to continuously get contaminated by birds, trees, you name it. So it does need encouragement after a few years to keep it like this. So, but yeah, let's get on with this and see how it goes. So here we have, I just found on the floor, a great example of a granulated tile. So you can see the moss has literally taken all of it off, and there's just a little line here of what it used to look like. So in my opinion, if a roof has got to this point, you can wash it. As long as the plug-in's in good nick, or it's been done, or it's got dry ridge. Absolutely use water. You're not going to take the coating off because look at it, literally nothing left already. So I think getting the moss off, whether you wash it or do it by hand, all you're going to do is preserve this as long as possible. I mean, this is still a solid tile. Yeah, and another thing is, if you are doing it by hand and there is a lot of this coating on the tiles, you want to be careful as well. Yes, a jet of water is going to remove it, but also using wire brushes is going to take that coating off. So that's why there's a fine line between, cleaning something and destroying it. And you just got to find the right method. If the moss isn't too bad and it's granulated tile roof, why not just treat it with a really heavy mix and leave it at that, rather than risking taking the coating off with water or a brush. But yeah, I firmly believe if it's at this point, you can definitely clean it. If it's still fully coated, you don't really want to be putting water on it. You don't want to be scrubbing it. So try and get away with just a heavy treatment. Maybe it takes a couple of treatments over the course of a year. But yes, that's your best bet if you're starting out and you're trying to figure it out. That's how I go off of it. But yeah, if I find any more good examples over the next few weeks, I'll upload some videos. But yeah, great example, granulated tile with no granules left because of the moss.